So today we're going to use Adobe After Effects to start animating our background and our characters. So Adobe After Effects is a really intense editing program for videos, for video graphics, and animation. So there's a lot to learn, but I'm going to try to break it down and keep it kind of simple. So just try to follow along as simply as possible, as closely as possible. The first thing you're going to have to do is make sure you go into your Adobe Creative Cloud and install Adobe After Effects. And then you should get to a menu like this when it opens. So skip over the tutorials and you're just going to go to New Project. And once you're in New Project, you'll see this interface kind of looks similar to Photoshop and Illustrator. Like a lot of the tools are the same. A lot of the key commands like Control plus and Control minus, Control 0, they'll zoom in, zoom out, get you to full screen. Control Z will step back. Shift will keep things in proportion. So that's really nice that it stays consistent throughout the programs. So right here, we're going to start by kind of just creating a new composition. So let's click this button, New Composition. You can also go up here to Composition and New Composition. So there's lots of options. And I like to start with the New Composition option because it's going to make your screen dimensions the right size for like a high definition like film or video. So that just has the standard proportions for that. So let's just start with that and click OK. It's automatically generated there. And then you'll see it over here. So right here is like your preview window. There's effects over here on the right. Down here is your timeline. So you can actually see things in time. And this is where you're going to be doing a lot of your animating. On the left is where you're going to be dragging in your different compositions, like your background and your character. There's drop-down menus at the top and a lot of the similar tools that you have in the other programs as well. So if you get out of this menu, like sometimes my timeline will disappear, you can always go up to standard up here and this drop down menu here, just reset it to saved layout and this will pop back up in normal view like this. So to start, you can either right click here and import, or you can just open your file finder and drag in your Adobe Illustrator files. I am going to choose composition. Now, if you choose footage, it's just going to get rid of all your layers. So I want to be able to manipulate my Illustrator layers. So I'm going to choose composition. If you already had like say images saved for a stop motion video or something, or stop motion animation, you could choose footage because you don't really need to manipulate the character or the background. It's already done, like say in Photoshop or Illustrator. But because we want to manipulate the layers, we're going to choose composition. So that's my man or my character. And you can see down here that they have the composition. It's a separate composition. We have comp 1, our man composition, and then here's a folder just with all the layers in Illustrator. I'm going to do the same. Just open here and drag the mountain scene over. It's going to be a composition. So I have my layers. And then I am going to actually drag on the little comp icon and drag these up into composition 1. So it's actually going to keep the proportions correct. So all I did was I clicked on my mountain, my background. I dragged it up into composition 1. So I'm kind of combining compositions now. Once I get here, then I can go with my arrow tool. So make sure your arrow tool is selected and you can start dragging out the size. Now hold shift if you don't want it to get distorted, which I don't. It might not be the exact proportions. That's okay. I can just leave a little like black strip above it because I don't want to squish it. Like if I drag it like this, it's going to get distorted. So, I mean, I like to keep it in proportion when I'm zooming out. So you can drag this out. If at any point, like you can change this stuff too. So I'm going to do the same for the man. Drag him into composition. And just like in general Adobe fashion, there's a million ways to do the same thing. So I just dragged him in and I can scale him from the corner. I can also, if you press S on your keyboard, the scale option will pop up. And this is going to be a lot to do with like animation later. When we actually animate things, you'll have to kind of go into these sub layers. And this is called scrubbing. When you click on the dimensions, this is your X and Y axis, like the location of the character right now. And if you click on it and drag to the right or to the left, it will scale him as well.